Welcome everybody to the Locker Room Rant. So sick. Uh, well, I'm here as always with my boys John V and Nico. Say hello, fellas.
How's it going?
What's going on,
Welcome
guys?
back.
We're over 60 subscribers. Want to say thank you for all the love out there. Um, please remember to hit that subscribe button down below. Leave us some comments. If you want us to get to a certain topic, we'll get to a certain topic. But thank you for all the love. I know John was looking at some analytics the other day on our videos, and it was something crazy. I think we're already um, in the top 8% of viewed videos on YouTube.
Yep.
So when you're looking up sports, and that's all of sports channels through YouTube. So 6 weeks in, and we're already in the top 58% viewed. So that's pretty awesome. Like keep the momentum rolling. Guys, first thing we got to get to gotta be the NBA playoffs. So let's get to those NBA playoffs. We're gonna go series by series, and what a difference a week makes. I know last week, John's Phoenix Suns that he picked to win. They won game one. Game two came. Lakers blew them out. Game three came. Lakers beat them again. They were down 2-1, and I'm thinking, oh boy, John's pick's looking bad. All of a sudden, Anthony Davis goes down. Phoenix wins game four. Game five on later on tonight. In that series, 2-2, guys. Who you like in the series? John, you sticking with the Suns? I don't know how bad Anthony Davis is hurt. I haven't even checked to see if he's playing yet tonight. But what's your thoughts on the Suns Lakers series? We'll start with you, John.
So he's got a groin strain, so I don't think he's going to play. I think it's pretty severe to the point where they consider LeBron the weight bearer, so to speak. I guess he's going to carry the team on his shoulders. I still got the Suns winning this series, man. I don't think that LeBron can do it. He's shooting from behind the arc like a career low, like 37% or something crazy. I don't think he's got enough in the tank. What's that? What's their number three? Is it something Caldwell Pope?
I don't know if he's their number three. I don't even. I'd say their number three is probably Drummond, or Kuzma. I don't know where Caldwell Pope is on that, but I know he's their defensive guy.
Well, he's also injured and he's not playing, so it is what it is. I mean, they're in trouble. I think the Suns are looking good. Chris Paul's shoulder, that stinger is getting better by the day, so I still have the Suns.
Yeah, LeBron. He hasn't had to carry a team like this probably since that first year they played Golden State in the finals, when it was basically just him and Deladova. So he's got his work cut out for him. What do you think, Nick?
They still had Kyrie Irving.
He was out. Him and Love were out.
You and Love were both out there? Okay.
Any opportunity to just anything to get to the Cavs.
Yeah, I think the Suns are probably going to win. It looks like Davis isn't going to play today, and it's in their favor. Let me put it that way. It's not really much more I have to say about it. The Suns are good. The Suns are a good enough team to beat a weakened Lakers team, especially when you're talking about weekend in one of the top two.
Next series I want to get to is Milwaukee Bucks versus the Miami Heat. Bucks got the brooms out and swept those Heat right off the court and out of the playoffs. Did this surprise you guys that it was a sweep, or
Not really.
these Bucks look nasty, and giving them a little time to heal up, get a little healthier, and wait for those those pesky Nets. I don't know if that game went final yet tonight. I think it's still in the fourth quarter, but
it's still going on.
It looks like the Bucks are going to see the Nets in round 2. Were you surprised that they swept the Heat, Nick?
I'm not really surprised. I thought there was a possibility. I thought the Heat might be able to pull out one, but like I've said time and time again, I think the Heat surprised the Bucks. It was a shock that they beat the Bucks last year, and this year it's the Bucks got better, and you're not going to take them by surprise twice. And this is what happens. The better team won. That was what was going to happen in this series.
What do you think, John?
I'm surprised because it was a pretty good series in the bubble, man. And I don't know if the bubble had something to do with the fact that the Heat were playing so well, but I'm surprised, man. With the addition of Holiday, it changed that offense. So, I'm surprised because Bam Adebayo was pretty solid last year. He was probably their best player, or at least, go ahead, Nick. What do you want to say?
It didn't just help their offense; it helped their defense. Drew Holiday is he might be the best defensive guard in the game.
Well, take it or leave it, man. That the addition of one player changed that team, and I believe that Giannis is still playing top level. You can't. The guy is a beast. I mean, I love it, and I'm glad. And I knew this was coming, bro. I picked the Bucks to beat them, and I'm happy. I'm happy.
Yeah, I think another move that was underrated was them bringing over Bobby Portis. Portis is a very good basketball player and has been over the last few years. Just really hasn't found a home that fit him well. But it seems like that home in Milwaukee, coming off the bench, he's able to give them really solid minutes off the bench. And I think that move of Bobby Portis coming over was pretty underrated as well. They got Forbes from the Spurs. Who else did they get? Tucker. They got Tucker from Houston, who's always PJ Tucker is going to always be a defensive, just clamp down on your best player, no matter what position they play. I mean, he's a beast as well. So that team, it's going to be really fun if they end up facing the Nets, when they end up facing the Nets, to see how that plays out, because they match up really good. It's going to be Durant on Giannis, Drew Holiday on Harden. It's going to be fun, and I can't wait to see it. Philadelphia 76ers. My Philadelphia 76ers are winning 3-1 against the Wizards. Last night, they tried for the sweep, and I think it was in the second quarter. Joel Embiid took a nasty fall and tweaked something in his knee, and now they're already calling him doubtful for Game 5. Is there any way possible that the Wizards come back from a 3-0 deficit against the 76ers? Nick?
There is. I mean, listen, you take Joel Embiid off the 76ers, and they are not good. Like I said before, they're a team that relies on their star more than any team in the playoffs right now. And if you take him off, that team is very, very, very not good. You're basically led by Ben Simmons, who can't really score on his own. It's possible they can come back, but it's also a steep hill. It's also a steep hill to climb. Do we know the extent of Embiid's injury, or is that still pending?
All they said was something with his knee. It wasn't. I don't know. I don't know the seriousness of it. I don't think they really came out and said, but they did say he was doubtful for Game 5 already. So, I mean, you give you know who a glimmer of hope, and he might triple-double his way to the next round. It's just thank goodness for Philly fans that they had that 3-0 lead when this happened.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a big hill to climb, but the Wizards are a better team than the 76ers without Joe Embiid.
What do you think, John?
I mean, I don't think that they can't finish without Embiid because the Wizards are. I mean, I thought they were the weakest team in the playoffs, but apparently the Heat proved me wrong. Look, I think that Embiid always manages to get hurt. I mean, so does Anthony Davis, and so does Chris Paul. If you want to be honest, these guys constantly get hurt. All right. Now, I watched Lopez contest that dunk or layup or whatever the hell it was supposed to be, and the way that Embiid came down was kind of like on the baseline, and his heel caught and his knee kind of buckled, and it was ugly, but it was quick. And I don't know that he did. I mean, he could have hurt himself. And I mean, I'd hate to see him out for the rest of the series with something serious like a tear or something. But I don't know. Look, I don't want to see Russell Wilson. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't want to see Russell Westbrook or Russell Wilson ever eating in much of anything that they do because I can't stand either one of them.
It's Russells.
I don't like Russells, bro.
Not a big fan of Russells.
I don't. No. But I look. Here's the thing. I'm gonna keep my expectations pretty level here, man. I'll say that the Sixers will somehow win without Embiid.
So that means it would have to be someone that steps up for the Sixers. Maybe someone by the name of Tobias Harris.
Guy's garbage.
Nick hates Tobias Harris, but it might be Tobias time in Philly.
Garbage. Should be a bench player. It's a perfect 6-man.
Tobias Harris is awesome, Nick.
It sucks.
They've got to be. Listen, nobody. You can't rely on one. I mean, it sucks that Embiid gets hurt, but they've got to be able to win without him.
I tell you,
right? The Wizards are the team. If you're going to go up against the team without your big man, it's the Wizards in this draft or in this goddamn playoffs that you want to be able to do it against. Somehow find out how to beat the Wizards and put this behind you because you're going to need them if you advance. And
yeah, Game 5. They're going back to Philly, and I think they're going to have to come together and give them the knockout blow on Game 5 because you don't want to go to 6. What about the Nets and Boston series? It's coming to a close. Nick, it's done?
Yeah.
So Nets officially on to round 2 to face the Bucks. Were you surprised that this was 4-1? Were you kind of shocked that it was 4-1? I'm actually kind of shocked that the Celtics even got one out of it.
I was calling a sweep, so I was actually shocked. I mean, if you get 50 points from Jason Tatum, you have a good shot of winning, and that's the one game they won. So,
not to mention Kemba and Robert Williams, both out the last 2 games. I mean, there is just no prayer.
It was demolished. Their team was demolished, and they were going up against a juggernaut too. So,
Kemba's another one who can never stay healthy when it matters. I hate that shit.
So that series is wrapped up. The last one from the East is the Hawks and the Knicks. Hawks have a 3-1 lead. I don't know if you guys have been watching these games, but they look by far the more superior team than the Knicks. The Knicks cannot find scoring. They cannot find it from anywhere. They're leaning heavily on Derrick Rose, old man Derrick Rose, to carry that team offensively, and it's just not happening. They can't find Julius Randle cannot get going, and that team is they look terrible. Nick, Could this be the? Could this be because they played so many minutes during the regular season?
Listen,
Coach Tibbs, let's hear it.
listen, it's not. They're not worse because they played so many minutes during the regular season. The problem is that Thibodeau, as a coach, refuses to actually do actual coaching, and instead he just plays his stars a lot of minutes during the games in the regular season, and they're a little better because they always have their stars on the court. But when you get into the playoffs, other teams will do that as well because now it's the playoffs, it's not the regular season. So you're going to be facing tougher competition.
So Tibbs doesn't want to coach.
No.
He's lazy at coaching.
He's lazy at coaching. He doesn't play. He doesn't. If you notice, he doesn't trust his young players enough.
Coach Tibbs, lazy. Coming from the guy that we just watched put your groceries away that you got 6 hours ago. John, what do you think about the Hawks-Knicks series?
I'm still holding out for the Knicks. I picked them to come out on top of this. I didn't expect them to fall, 3-1 right here. But, look, they can do it, man. They just have to get moving. I saw an article where this Obi Toppin may play, more minutes if they feel like he could be the X factor in this lineup. If I could blame Thibodeau for something, which Nick, when you say that someone is fucking lazy, when it comes from you, bro, it does something to me, bro. It just
takes the easy way out.
So what's the easy way out, bro? The only thing I hold him accountable for is that his rotations are a little bit weak. I feel like he needs to figure it out. And if he thinks that Obi Toppin should be playing more, then so be it.
First of all, you should know, you should be able to deduce as a coach, as an experienced coach in this league, that a starting lineup of Julius Randle, Derrick Rose, and whoever else they have over there is not going to be able to compete. But yet he continues and continues and continues to pound these guys into the wall.
Dude, do you know what the Knicks' record was the regular season coming into the playoffs?
Yes, I know.
Don't tell me that he doesn't know what he's doing and that they don't play well.
Thibodeau,
you make them out to be like they're bums. They're not bums.
Thibodeau, right? There's a reason why Julius Randle was never given the keys to an organization before. Because he's not the guy. He is not the guy that should be handling the ball 90% of the time on the court. He is a power forward. How
long has Randle been in the league?
Been in the league like 5-6 years.
And who's their most recent draft pick?
Who's their most recent draft pick? Toppin.
And before him?
RJ Barrett.
RJ Barrett. I'm not really worried about Julius Randle right now. It's RJ Barrett that they need to feed the ball through.
RJ Barrett has been. It almost looks like he's out of his league on this series. He looks like a fish out of water. He looks just like he's deer caught in headlights. Like the stage is too big for him.
I got news for you. RJ Barrett
not too big for him. I think he's better than Zion, dude.
What?
I do.
You're lying. RJ Barrett is not even good.
What has Zion done for the league?
Zion will give you 20
aside from
even night.
breaking his Nike shoe with his fat foot. What the fuck has he done?
Zion will give you 20 every night. Probably like 1 or 2 blocks a game. He's a much better, much more influential player.
Well, they made him out to be like the next generational talent, and he hasn't done a damn thing, right? So, where are the Pelicans right now?
Listen, the Pelicans are a worse team.
You're a worse team.
The Knicks aren't the worst team in the league, but they're not going to do well in the playoffs.
While I love John's passion, I do not agree with the RJ Barrett being better than Zion Williamson.
I do. I think he is. I think if you look at their, you know what? When we're done with the show, I'm going to compare their stats, and I want to see. I want to see what. I want to see what.
RJ Barrett's probably not even the top 15 players in that draft class.
Yeah, he is.
I would disagree with you on that, but
he's all right.
wait.
So
I'll get facts and we'll check out the numbers together. We're going to do that. We're going to look at it, and we'll come back to that. But for now, I believe that the Knicks get it together, and I think that they will come out and win the next one.
all right, staying in that draft, we're going to go to the Memphis Grizzlies versus the Utah Jazz. Jazz have a 3-1 lead. Donovan Mitchell back and better than ever. But Ja Morant showing up and showing out on every game so far in that series. That young man has really impressed me. Now, if you were to say maybe he might be comparable to Zion and who you would take out of those two to start your franchise, I actually might hesitate on that one. I love Ja Morant. I love the way he plays the game. Tough, gritty, cocky. What do you guys think that series is over 3-1? What do you think about the series, Nick?
I have the Jazz coming out of that conference, so yeah, this is pretty much going exactly how I thought it was. I thought it would probably be a sweep, but I didn't really anticipate Donovan Mitchell not playing that game. So, but yeah, I mean, the Grizzlies aren't ready yet. They're not ready for prime time. Ja Morant's good. Ja Morant's really good. He's got a really good future ahead of him, but this year ain't his year.
I was listening to a Grizzlies podcast the other day. It was all Grizzlies, and I asked the guy that was on there. I said, "Who is a Grizzlies player? Who is anyone in the NBA that you would take to join that team that would make them contenders next year?" And he actually works for the Grizzlies, and he was like, "Nobody. There's nobody that can come to this team to make them instant contenders. It's just a team that has to like build from within and grow and get a couple more years under their belt because we're really all young guys." But it was just funny to that nobody in the league can come over and make them instant contenders.
I'm sure you get a couple like the top 10 players and they'd be contenders.
I told him just one guy.
Oh.
He was like, we're not one guy away. And then some other kid chimed up and he was like, Doug McDermott. I was like, well, you're fucking stupid. What? We're one guy away and it's Doug McDermott.
McBuckets.
Dougie McBuckets.
Dougie McBuckets going to take us over the top.
That's funny. How about the Clippers Mavericks series tied 2-2? I was shaking in my boots. Clippers were my pick to win the championship, and they fell hard 2-0. Got blown out both first two games. Clippers battled back and kind of beat the shit out of them the last two games. So that series is tied 2-2. John, who you like in that series and why?
I think I like the Clippers. I think they showed us was the last game they beat them by quite a bit, right? Was it a?
Yeah, it was a blowout.
I think that the Clippers have figured out exactly what they need to do, and I believe that they'll finish the series. I think that they can do it. As far as winning the whole thing, I don't have them winning at all. But I do believe that they'll finish it strong.
Nico.
I gotta be honest, I haven't really paid attention. To this series. I won't give a shit about it. Isn't what's his face hurt?
Well, you got to
Who's
give us a
what's his
name
face?
because I mean, there's lots of what's their face.
Doncic.
No,
I don't think so. No.
I thought I was reading somewhere that he got hurt. Like I said, I haven't really paid attention to it, and it's 2-2. It's going to drag on forever.
Can you just fucking pick who you think's gonna win?
I mean, Jesus Christ! Can you convince anyone that you
I
know
already
what
said
you're talking
We're
about?
going to stick with the Clippers.
This is a sports show. You gotta at least pretend that you fucking know about sports.
This isn't the Good Morning America. You just sit up here. I could really care.
I said I'd pick the Clippers. I'm going to pick the Clippers.
If I asked you a question about Chuck E. Cheese, you'd have a million things to say about Chuck E. Cheese.
Exactly. Like, why do they still print tickets? I wish they would just give you a card.
I was playing skee ball the other day. Some kid came over and stole my tickets.
I think they need to transition. I think they need to transition from tokens. To catch up with the new age.
Bitcoin, like kind of like a Bitcoin type thing for Chuck E. Cheese.
Like Bitcoin.
God, dude.
Dogecoin. Dogecoin.
Chuck's coin. All right, let's get to your Nuggets and Trailblazers. Series tied 2-2. Game going on right now. Not sure who's winning that one. Nick, you got an update on that one?
So I was paying a little attention. The Nuggets were blown. The Nuggets ran out to like an 11-0 lead to start the game off. For pretty much the entire second half, they were down. The Nuggets were kicking the crap out of them by like 20 points. And somehow, at halftime, the score is now 62-65. Nuggets.
So you mean the second quarter? You said the second half. So the second quarter, they were beating the hell out of them, and then Trailblazers came back, and they're only trailing by 3 at halftime?
Exactly, yes.
So what do you think, bud? Talk about your Blazers.
Dame Lillard has 18 points. He's doing his thing. I still think the Blazers are going to win. I still think it's going to be close, and obviously it is close. I've said it was going to be close from the entire time that we started our first initial predictions. I think they're going to win. I don't think they have what it takes to win to get in the finals, and that's where I'm at with that. I'll be pleasantly surprised if they do come out of this and go on.
I think you said surprised. I'd have to watch that back. Pleasantly surprised.
I was pleasantly surprised that David Lillard that lost to Rabbit.
You remember when we were driving back from Delaware, and we got lost. John, we got lost. I was driving back from the military. Nick came to help me move all my stuff back, and we were driving back from Delaware. We're gonna stop and get some crab legs, in Delaware, some blue crabs. And I'm trying to find directions. It was before like GPS. I'm trying to read a map and shit while drive. I think Nick was sleeping or something. I don't know what the hell he was doing.
Worst person to take a ride.
Worst. He's the worst. And I was like, Nick, wake up. I think we're lost. He's like, he looks at me like a dickhead, right? He goes, yeah, we're lost. You made the wrong toin. I was like, I made the wrong what? He's like, the wrong toin. You know, that comes out of you every now and then. Remember that one time you said, saw we?
It does.
It does.
Sometimes my brain thinks a little faster than my mouth can move.
The guy, you take him for a car ride. You're like, hey, we're going here, we're going there. And we were going to a dealership that was 15 minutes away. I'm talking to him, and I hear snoring, and I look over, and he's just out, dude.
You think that's bad, John? How about this one?
For?
Try this one on for size. We're going from Warren to Seneca Casino, and you got to go through Erie, PA, which is like the worst place on earth to drive, especially at night, especially in the winter. And there was an absolute whiteout. You couldn't see 2 feet in front of you. We're driving, and Nick's like, whatever. All I ask is that you stay awake. I'm like, okay. So I'm tired as hell. I'm falling asleep. It's probably midnight. We're driving. There's semi trucks everywhere. It's a whiteout, and I'm trying to talk to him. I'm still talking while sleeping somehow. And I'm like, yeah, so anyways, sorry about that. I dozed off there for a second. He goes, huh? I said, were you just sleeping? He's like, I couldn't been out for more than 45 seconds. I said, Nick, you were just sleeping for 45 seconds while driving on a blizzard in Erie, PA next to semi-trucks.
Yep.
Well, we made it, didn't we?
Oh, dude, that's the worst.
He's the worst.
Dude, what about when he came home from when he came home on leave and he passed out for about a quarter mile up against the guardrail and just rode that the whole way? I mean, how about that? I mean, that's skillful driving there, right? I mean, if it hadn't been for the guardrail, you would have just gone off the side of the earth. It just blows my mind.
Right,
It was like
there.
It was like a roller coaster at that point. He just stayed on the track, and it took him all the way home.
I mean, usually you hit the rumble strips, you wake up, you're like, oh my God, Nick just crashes into the guardrail and continues to follow the guardrail and just rely on it to keep him alive. Dude, what the hell is the matter with you?
Either way, Damian Woodward, that wascally wabbit, is leading the Trailblazers right now.
John, who do you like in that series?
Denver.
Ooh, you're going against the Wascally Wabbit, are you?
I am deliberately going.
Shit.
I'm deliberately going against the Trailblazers, but I do believe that that Denver will beat them. Because Damian Lillard will manage to sprain his arm or his ankle or his knee or shoulder or rib.
This is the most blasphemous thing that John brings up. It makes no sense. It has no merit. Damian Lillard is one of the most durable players in the NBA. He's known as that.
He's been getting banged up the last few playoffs that he's been in.
I mean, he might not miss the games, but he's there. But that doesn't mean he didn't look. I got him sustaining some form of a sprain or some bullshit.
So in the last week, NBA fans have been getting wild. And I'm pretty excited to talk about this for a few different reasons. First and foremost, Westbrook got popcorn spilled on him while he was leaving with an injury in that Philly game. Kyrie got a water bottle thrown at him last night after stomping on the logo at center court at the Boston Celtics game. Ja Morant's father was verbally threatened while he was in Utah, sitting in the stands. Knicks fans spit on Trae Young. And then last night in Washington, a fan ran out onto the court, was tackled by security. This is all within like the last week. I want to start with the Westbrook getting popcorn thrown on him. You would have thought the fan threw like acid on him for how pissed he got. I was probably the number one suspect before they caught the guy that did it. I was probably the number one suspect in the popcorn gate. And I actually had people texting me, was that you that just hit Westbrook with popcorn? And I wish it was, but I wouldn't waste my popcorn on him. There's been like 5 episodes with Westbrook and fans over the last few years. Do you think it's because the fans are assholes and they don't know how to control themselves? Or do you think maybe, I mean, you never hear like, I never heard of like Michael Jordan getting something thrown at him. I never heard of LeBron James getting popcorn dumped on him. Do you think it has to do a little bit with the player?
He obviously has a little bit to do with the player, but because I mean those two players especially bring out a lot of hatred towards them. That being said, it's a pretty unique thing. It doesn't happen all the time. And I'm wondering where security is. They're not keeping the stuff under wraps. I feel like there needs to be a little bit tighter security. And I feel like a lot of it has to do with the pandemic. I feel like people are back at games. they've been cooped up in the house the whole time, and they're just
Don't
going.
say that shit. Don't use that bullshit. They're not caged animals. Don't say that shit.
Yeah,
that's an excuse. That's an excuse.
I'm not saying I'm not excusing the behavior. I'm just saying that's probably a reason. It's
not a reason. It's not even a good reason. And most of them are using that bullshit excuse because they're banned. They're getting their season tickets revoked.
Well, they should. It's not an excuse. Yeah, an excuse is taking an explanation to make a behavior somewhat more palatable.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm not excusing the behavior. Revoke their season tickets. Do whatever you want.
I just don't want to hear you say that it's because they've been stuck at home because of COVID. I don't want to hear that. That's not a good reason. It's not a reason. You were better than that. You were raised to be better than that. You don't spit on people. You don't throw shit at people. Fans have honestly, to be honest, there should be like legal actions taken against them. If I spit on you, and you are both COs,
if you
guys are both COs,
somebody's assault.
Yeah, and someone should be charged for spitting on Trae Young, and whoever threw a bottle at Kyrie. I don't condone it. I hate Kyrie, but I don't think you should throw shit at anyone.
Another thing is I think people not being able to get punched in the face for doing something is it kind of makes them gives them a little bit of credence to do those things. I feel like if they had Kyrie coming at him or Trae Young, even though those guys aren't too imposing of players, I feel like they probably wouldn't do that.
Well,
yeah, I went to a.
You just want athletes to run off the floor and start hitting fans? I mean, look, you should just be.
I wouldn't blame them. I wouldn't blame Ron Artest for the Malice at the Palace.
Okay, but you should just be better than that. Like you should just know you shouldn't throw shit at people. So maybe they should take liquor out. Maybe they shouldn't allow people to drink in the stands if you're going to throw shit at people and act like a piece of shit.
It's arguable.
I remember when I was like probably 12 years old, 13, something like that. We went to an Indians game. They were playing the New York Yankees in the playoffs. And I went with Ryan Stredney, his brother, and I want to say someone else was with us. I'm not sure who. It might have just been us three. I'm not sure. And we were in the outfield, first row of like the bleachers. And right in front of us was Paul O'Neill, outfielder for the Yankees. And for some reason, I hated Paul O'Neill. And I think Ryan and his brother hated him too. And I remember his brother screamed out, hey, we were screaming stuff for like 5 minutes. Like, hey, your private parts are small and it's stuff like that, you know? At one point, Ryan's brother said, hey, Paul, I hope you break your fucking neck. Now, if I was 12, his brother was 15 or 16. And Paul O'Neill looked back at us and was like, real nice, guys, real nice. And like just him looking back at us and saying that like scared the living shit out of me. I'm like, oh my God, is Paul O'Neill going to come beat the fuck out of me?
Paul my fence. I bet your mouth will shut up real quick.
It was like the scariest thing ever. But
I bet the next thing that came out of your mouth would have been, I'm sorry, Mr. O'Neill. All three of you.
I always think about that scene in that movie, A Bronx Tale, when they shut the door in the bar when those bikers are in there, and he's like, "Now yous can't leave," and then they beat the shit out of him. But they were saying something. They were kind of saying, "Well, we feel like animals at the zoo." and people just treat us like animals, and they're going to the zoo and just, no rules, blah blah blah. There's even rules at the zoo. If someone spit on a bear, or I don't know, someone spit on a kangaroo at the zoo, there's probably someone there that would beat the shit out of that person for spitting on a kangaroo. If someone threw a water bottle at a lion, they'd probably be thrown in jail for throwing a water bottle at the lion. So you can't even really compare it to the zoo. It's something where these fans, and I could, what's probably going to end up happening, and it's sad to say this, but baseball games, when people are getting hit by foul balls, baseball bats flying out of people's hands, and they talked about putting up that netting. I bet you at some point the NBA is going to start thinking about putting up some type of protective netting, or like you see in hockey, the protective glass. If fans keep acting this way and it keeps trending in this direction, the NBA is going to come out with some type of protection that's between the players and the fans.
I mean, maybe like a plexiglass thing, like around like the seating area for the players, but that's about it. Basketball, too much of that sport is built upon that fan player interaction on the, especially like on the seats that like people pay like $1 million for. It's built upon that.
Well, you know what? Guess what? You ruined it for everybody. Put the fucking plexiglass up and forget about it.
They're not going to ruin it. I mean, you're going to ruin it if the owners say it's ruined. If the owners don't say it's ruined, then if people stop buying those seats, they're not going to give a crap if somebody gets popcorn spilled on them.
I mean, the popcorn and the water bottle, that stuff didn't even come from the people sitting front courtside. Exactly. It's coming from people up in the rafters. But the point is, maybe having some type of protective shield or netting between. It's probably where it's going to end up going if this shit continues. So if you listen to this channel, stop throwing stuff, because unless it's Westbrook,
because you're pissing me off and you're acting like fucking pigs. Get it together.
Get it together. All right, I'm going to name you guys arguably the top 10 players in the NBA that are under the age of 25. And I want you guys to tell me who you would pick out of those players to start your franchise with. Does that make sense?
Are we doing like center, power forward, small forward?
One player.
Oh, just one player. Okay.
Just one player. All right. Here's the list. Luka, Sabonis, all under the age of 25. Luka, Sabonis, Tatum, Booker, Mitchell, Towns, Jokic, Zion, John Morant, Jaylen Brown. I know mine's a no-brainer. I'm going Luka, and I think that I just love the guy. After he hit Sexton in the nuts, he can do no wrong in my eyes. John, who do you take out of those ones? And if you can, I can. If you want, I can repeat those again.
No, I got it. I'll take Jason Tatum.
He's a beast. What do you like about Tatum? Just everything?
Everything, dude. He's young. The ceiling is high for this kid. He's on pace. His trajectory right now is excellent. He's on pace to be great, dude. It wasn't just one 50-point game. It's been a few 50-point games, one coming in the playoffs against an excellent team. So, like, I think Jason Tatum has, I mean, and you can, I've seen him grow, watched him through the playoffs, I've seen this kid's growth. And if he keeps going at this pace, he's going to be bomb.com, bro. He's going to be a top 5 contender here. He's going to be the youngest. How old did we say he was? 23?
I think he's 23.
Yeah. I mean, I'm building my team around Jason Tatum.
Nico, let's hear it.
I think obviously Jokic. Jokic is the best player to build your team around out of all those that you named. If I had to put a second and third, it would probably be Doncic, and it would probably be third would be Jaylen Brown. I like Jaylen Brown better than Tatum. And yes, I do have Jaylen Brown on my fantasy team. I know you'll bring that up. But I just think Jaylen Brown is a better player for you to build your team around than Jason Tatum. I don't take anything away from Tatum. I just think Tatum's slightly overrated.
Overrated, my God,
Right.
he's killing.
The only reason is because he's rated so high. I think he's a fine player. I think he's a good player. I think he has a chance. I think he has a chance to go to Canton. But
the fuck's he gonna do in Canton?
Yeah.
Go to the NFL Hall of Fame in Canton?
Not Canton.
Go visit some people? What the fuck? What's he going to Canton for, Nick?
What's that, Springfield, Illinois? Is that where the basketball Hall of Fame is? Either way, he has a chance to go in the Hall of Fame. But I just don't think a lot of people say he's one of the top 5 players in the league, and I just don't think he is. I think he's arguably one of the top 10 players in the league. But even that's arguable to me. Like, I could argue that he isn't. But he's definitely one of the better players in the league. If you're saying top 20, definitely. But I think Jaylen Brown is slightly better than him. I think Jaylen Brown, I know Tatum's had a couple big scoring games, like big 50-point scoring games, but as a total score, I think Jaylen Brown's better. I'm always going to go with getting the ball in the bucket. I think Jaylen Brown's a better defender. I think Jaylen Brown's a better player. And Jaylen Brown has continuously made leaps every year. Jaylen Brown his game has kind of stayed stagnant. I disagree with John. I think Jaylen Brown is just kind of the same version, maybe slightly more refined, of the player he was the previous year. Jaylen Brown has gotten much better. Jaylen Brown used to be a terrible free throw shooter. Now he's actually halfway.
Nick, you put Jaylen Brown against Jaylen Brown. You just put Jaylen Brown against Jaylen Brown. Jason Tatum, bro. That's who you're talking. That's who you're be. Listen, if you disagree with me, that's fine. But Jason Tatum has carried his team, and I disagree with you completely. I don't believe that Jaylen Brown is better of the two. I don't agree. And if anybody's game has stayed stagnant, it's been Jaylen Brown.
No, it hasn't.
Not Jason Tatum.
That's absolutely ridiculous because Jaylen Brown, like I said, used to be not a good free throw shooter. Now he's a pretty good free throw shooter. He used to not be a great 3-point shooter. Now he's an exceptional 3-point shooter. He has increased to being an over 20-point a game scorer. You know, Jason Tatum's always kind of been there, but Jason Tatum's also had a lot more opportunity than Jaylen Brown has had. They put Jason Tatum there instantly and said, "Hey, you're going to be a member of the team." Jaylen Brown had to actually claw and scratch his way up to being that. So okay. I like Jaylen Brown a little better than Jason Tatum. That's all I'm saying. But if I was to pick one, it would be Jokic.
All right, next thing I want to do, it's kind of fun for me. I was thinking about this today. The best NBA players of our lifetime. I'm going to give you guys – I want you guys to draft. All right? I want you to make a draft.
Okay.
I'm going to give you the players to pick from, and you're going to draft those players.
Okay.
Now, if you don't agree with that these are the best players that I'm giving you, I'm going to go position by position, and I'm going to give you 2. So John's going to pick one, Nick's going to pick one. Next position, Nick, you'll pick one, and then John will pick one. And if you don't agree that they're the best at that position in our lifetime, then you can write someone in for who you want to pick. Comprende?
Good.
All right, we'll start with center. And Nick, John, do you care if he has first pick?
No, go ahead.
All right, Nick will have first pick, and I know where you're going with this already. So we'll start with center. Hakeem Olajuwon versus Shaquille O'Neal.
Dream.
Why are you picking the Dream over Shaq?
Because Shaq, I mean, both are obviously great. I mean, every person that you're probably going to say is going to be great, but Shaq was more brute force, and Hakeem Olajuwon was more just like grace and skill. And I feel like the person that has grace and skill is going to win in that matchup. Now, granted, they didn't really battle too much in when Shaq was like on the Lakers. They didn't really. Olajuwon was more on his way out at that point in time. But when they did match up, Olajuwon messed Shaq up. He pretty much tore him up. So
you're taking Olajuwon, which leaves John with Shaquille O'Neal. Are you okay with that, John?
Yeah, I'm fine with it. Fine with it.
The next one will be the 2 guard, and it'll be between Jordan and Kobe. John, your pick.
I'm going to take Michael. Obviously, for obvious reasons. I mean, he's the greatest to do it, arguably, of our generation. But I'll take Michael. I mean, I'm also not a fan of Michael Jordan for reasons. I don't like him as a teammate. I think that he was too demanding of his teammates, which I understand. There is a fine line there where demanding the best and bringing the best from your teammates. He did it in a way that was more of a bullyish, it was like a bullyish type, and I don't care for that. I never did. I don't like it. But I'll take Michael because he's a winner, man.
So you have Jordan and Shaq so far. Nick, you have Hakeem and Kobe.
Yep.
You're fine with Kobe in that position?
Yeah.
You could take another 2 guard and substitute. Maybe you want Reggie Miller on the team. I don't know.
Yeah. So are we building? So here's a question that I ask: are we building the team that we think would be thing that would be better, or are we building a team that just has the best players?
Just shut the fuck up. You're getting Kobe Bryant.
Well, because there might be a situation where we might want Reggie Miller.
Yeah, probably Robert Horry.
There's no situation.
You're so stupid. God damn it. I can't.
Well, no, there is
take this.
I'll take Kobe, but there is going to be a position where that does happen. We'll get to it.
Okay. Your next decision, Nick, and I think I know where you're going to go on this, is Larry Bird and LeBron James at your 3.
I'll take the Bird.
The Bird is the word. So you got the Bird, Kobe, and Hakeem the Dream. Pretty solid team so far. And John, that leaves you with LeBron. I'm sure you're fine with that.
I'm fine with it.
So you got Shaq, LeBron, and Michael Jordan. My God. All right. Next one was point guard, but I don't think I did this one too good. I got Magic Johnson and Allen Iverson. I know Allen Iverson didn't play a lot of point guard. He was more of a 2, but I wanted to get him on this list and kind of compare them. John, who would you take out of Magic and Iverson?
I would take I'll take Magic, bro.
Magic. So you'll have Magic at your 1, Jordan at your 2, LeBron at your 3, and Shaq at your 5 so far. Nick, you want to write in John Stockton, or are you going to stick with Iverson?
I'm going to write in Stockton.
I fucking knew you'd throw a wrench into my list.
That wasn't even the wrench that I was going to throw.
Okay, so you're going to take John Stockton over Allen Iverson.
Yep.
Okay, so you got Stockton, Kobe, Larry Bird, and Hakeem Olajuwon. And the last on my list is power forwards. And I put down Tim Duncan and Karl Malone. Nick, do you have a write-in for that, or are you sticking with one of those 2?
I have a write-in. It would be the worm Dennis Rodman.
Okay, dude. My team is going to destroy you every way from Friday.
Absolutely not. You have a scorers. You have a team of scorers on your team.
My team will destroy you. You, dude, you're drafting based on finesse and what was the word he used for Lajuan? What did he say? Grace. Okay, I'll take your fucking grace all day, bro.
Judd, who do you want at your power forward position?
Dude, I'm taking Karl Malone.
Yeah, you basically have the dream team, plus LeBron and Shaq. And Nick, you just got Larry Bird and Hakeem.
Okay. John Stockton was on the dream team.
He was. Did you guys ever watch the Dream Team documentary?
No, and I should probably because we were young and we probably couldn't appreciate it as much as we would now. So when did you watch it?
I watch it like once a year for like the last 5-6 years. And it's my favorite sports documentary ever. It's hilarious, man. You got to check that out, John. The funniest part to me is there's a couple parts that are crazy, but when John Stockton, like when anyone from the team, they were treated like gods over there, like they couldn't move without the media just hounding them. And at one point, the bus got stuck in traffic, and John Stockton was like, "I'll just walk from here." And they were like, "What the fuck are you talking about? You can't walk out there." He's like, "Trust me, I'll be fine." He gets off the bus and just starts walking back to his hotel with like his family and stuff. And nobody even knew who the hell he was. It was hilarious. He was actually stopping people that had Dream Team t-shirts on. And he was like, "Hey, do you know who I am?" And they were like, "No." He's like, "You have no idea who I am?" And they're like, "No." He's like, "What if I told you I'm that guy on your shirt?" And they're like, "Oh, wow, yeah, that is you. Cool." Like, it was just, you got to watch that documentary, man. It's honestly, it's my favorite sports documentary I've ever seen. So, Nick, do you think your team would beat John's?
Absolutely.
Of course he does. You're gonna win with grace.
He has too many. He has too many head cases. He has too. No, I'm not gonna say head cases, but he has
head
too
cases.
many.
Yeah, but you got Dennis Rodman.
Dennis Rodman, while being a head case off the court, was actually incredible to have on the court. He was not a head case.
Well, you know what? While Dennis Rodman disappears for a couple of weekends and they find him in some
Dennis Rodman never disappeared for any of the Chicago Bulls finals games.
No, that's because Coach gave him a pass and let him take off to clear his crazy for a little bit.
You know what he
would do whatever he needed to do to get right.
I'll give him as many passes as he wants, as long as he pulls down 25 rebounds and does incredible defense on your freaking Karl Malone.
I cannot wait for people to watch this and to give us feedback on whose team they believe will win. Tony, repeat the rosters one more time.
Well, because you guys
overestimate your grace. Sit there with your grace, and Tony, shoot off those rosters real quick.
All right, so Nick has John Stockton, Kobe Bryant, Larry Bird, Dennis Rodman, and Hakeem Olajuwon. John has Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Karl Malone, and Shaquille O'Neal.
It's not even close, bro.
Yeah,
Leave us a comment. Leave us a comment and see who you guys would who you would take out of those two teams.
Listen, I know people are going to look at LeBron's on the team and they're going to be like, "Oh, Larry Bird." LeBron and Larry Bird had very similar statistics. Larry Bird was a better clutch player. I mean, Larry Bird was better than LeBron James.
It's not even the fact that it's LeBron James, bro. You totally oversaw the fact that Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson are on the same team, bro.
Yeah, because
Are you out of your goddamn mind?
I didn't get to pick the first point guard.
I could have drew somebody in, but why the hell would I?
I didn't get the chance to pick the first point guard. I would have picked Magic, but
Wasn't your pick?
unfortunately, I had to pick. Unfortunately, I had to write in two of my picks.
Over, yeah, because dude, out of all the legends to play the game,
I had the first pick. I had the first pick in both in the one, and I had to write them in.
Good, write them in.
Bad management of the player pool, maybe, huh? Nick, was it bad management of the player pool? I should have known to put Dennis Rodman on there so you wouldn't have to write him in. And yeah, I'm very surprised you didn't put the Wascally Wabbit, Damian Lillard, as your point guard.
You know what?
Like you couldn't have put in like you couldn't have like Gary Payton. You couldn't have picked somebody like
why Gary Payton? I mean,
Gary
Payton's a fine player, but are you saying that Gary Payton was better than John Stockton?
No, but I'm saying that you need to.
Why would I have picked him over John Stockton?
John Stockton was a good pick.
Okay, what are you arguing with me about? I only have one.
The fact is, I'm just glad that I'm glad that we could disagree on a few things tonight. I believe that RJ Barrett will be a better all-around player than Zion. Just give him some time because they're not that far off. I'm going to go back and see what they average.
RJ Barrett sucks.
He does. All right, look. Even if you disagree, don't tell me that RJ Barrett sucks.
I will tell you how many times you want to hear it. 3. RJ Barrett sucks. RJ Barrett sucks. RJ Barrett sucks.
It's like Beetlejuice. Nick, what are you drinking right now?
I'm just going with Old Faithful Coke. Straight Coke. Original.
You're really disappointing the viewers and the subscribers.
If it was, I was originally, before we started, we kind of got a late start. I was drinking a Sprite Frosty. But that's done.
Tony, do you know how many of those he drinks a week?
I can't even begin to imagine.
At least 6. He's vile.
All right, the last topic we got to get to is Naomi Osaka. She is a women's tennis player. She's a women's tennis player and ranked. I shouldn't just say women's tennis player. She is the number 2 ranked overall women's tennis player in the world. She's awesome. She's won majors before. She's in the French Open, which is going on currently, and she missed a media session. And she said that she missed the media session because of mental health issues. The World Tennis Tour, whatever the hell it's called, fined her $19,000, $15,000 for not talking to the media. Even though she claimed to have the mental health issues. So I know that this is going to probably be controversial with the 3 of us. What do you think of this? Is this something that's bullshit? I know today I was hearing a lot on the different sports channels. Should professional athletes should it be mandatory that they talk to the media? Should they be allowed to skip media time without being fined? What do you guys think about this? Nick, I know you're going to be controversial, so I'll start with John.
Well, Tony, she has since dropped out of the French Open.
Yes.
And I although I respect I respect her stance on mental illness. You never want to break that. You never want to break the barrier between, mental health and sports because shit is not important. I sympathize with her on that. I just want to know why she felt as though missing out on the interview, that's part of the paycheck. I mean, the media, you knew what you were getting into. I understand that, you may not want to do it. So just keep it brief, keep it going, answer the questions and get by it, and if it's too painful, if it bothers you, if it triggers something, then respectfully just step aside. But don't say from the start that you're not going to do it. I just, I don't know. Maybe by dropping out, she just felt like that was the best way to do it, because she knows that, the fine is coming, and the media is going to chew it up. They're vicious, and they're going to paint a picture of shit, and she doesn't deserve it. So,
I think they're going to paint her as a hero in today's world. I think that she'll be viewed as a hero, and they won't end up finding her, and she'll end up changing how things work in sports. That's the day. That's the days we live in now. When someone acts out and speaks up on topics like this, it starts changing how we view things and what people's obligations are. And I think her dropping out at being the number 2 women's tennis player in the world, dropping out of a major like the French Open, because of this issue, I think tennis and the world of sports collectively are going to take a look at how these media sessions work. And I think they're going to take a look at mental health and start making adjustments to when it comes to addressing with the media. Nick, what do you think?
I just don't know what this freaking girl's problem is with answering questions from the media. Why does answering questions from the media make you go crazy? You're playing a sport in front of millions of people, in front of a stadium full of people, and millions of people watching on TV. I don't understand why answering a couple questions like that. Either way, I could care less. I really could care less.
Brutal, vile. You are just. I mean, you're just such a rotten shitbag.
He's playing
What's wrong with you, dude?
In front of a stadium full of people.
No.
Watching
Fast forward to the part where you don't give a shit.
I mean, I don't give a shit whether she answers questions from the media. I don't really care.
Well, be clear, bro, because people are watching this. They're going to look at you and be like, "What a cold-hearted son of a bitch."
That being said, I don't know why she answer questions from the media after she just got done having millions of people watch her on TV.
Look, I believe it's the fact that her
stadium full of thousands of people watching her, waiting for her to make a mistake, and then she goes into a building and has to answer questions for 10 minutes. She can't do it.
Look, I think it's something to do with her fame. I think it brought a lot of anxiety. I don't know what she's struggling with, and it's none of my business. But when somebody says that they would prefer to not do this and not do that, then look, the reason why I say the media is going to chew her up is because they're going to say that answering questions is part of the contract or part of the gig, right? And if you don't want to do it, you should just take the fine. So take the fine.
Take the fine. Who cares?
And find another platform to express yourself and explain to the world why. If you feel like dropping out of the Open, if dropping out was the best case scenario for her, did she lose a match? Did something happen?
But the thing is she having the same anxiety? Is she having the same anxiety when she's playing tennis in front of?
I don't know, Nick. I don't know. I don't know enough about the situation to tell you what her ailments are. It's probably none of my fucking business what battles she's battling. So at the end of the day,
it seems crazy to me.
Of course it does, because you're goofy. Look, at the end of the day,
I mean, Kevin Love suffers from depression. He came out and said that, he suffers from depression a few years ago, along with DeMar DeRozan.
Okay, that's fine. A lot of people suffer from depression.
Okay.
I mean, this is kind of same thing. I mean, this.
But what I'm saying is she's going outside and competing in a sport and doesn't seem to be affecting her there. But when she goes in front of cameras and answers questions.
Yeah, but how do we know that? How do you know that how do you know that sitting there right now that
Nick,
while she's playing, she's not experiencing some form of anxiety?
If that's the case, the whole hubbub of this was that she didn't want to answer questions to the media. If that's the case, if it's affecting her on court performance and she feels like she can't perform off court, then she's got to work on some stuff. Maybe
listen,
want to be a tennis player.
Are you a dickhead while you're at work?
No, why?
You're a dickhead now.
Why?
You just are. You're always a dickhead.
Why am I a dickhead?
Outside of work, you're a dickhead. While you're dealing with patients, I'm sure you're a different guy. But right now, you're a dickhead.
Yeah, but this is something that. But either way, if I feel like not being a dickhead, I turn it off when I interact with my patients. She apparently can turn it on or off if she's on the court hitting tennis balls.
All I really think is it comes with the territory. I'm sure there's been amazing sports athletes that could have gone pro, but because of their unwillingness or inability to get in front of cameras, whether it's they can't perform in front of large crowds or they can't talk to media. I mean, look at Marshawn Lynch. He was the most awkward fucking guy in the world, but he still got into in front of a camera and did an interview. Look at Kawhi Leonard. Every time he gives an interview, it's like he'd rather be in hell. I mean, it comes with being in that position. And I think if she doesn't want to be in front of the media, she needs to probably find a new profession because that comes part of the territory. It comes with it. I'm sure there's been great athletes that have had the skill set to make it at the highest professional levels, but they couldn't because they couldn't deal with the media, the other portion that comes with it. And the same thing goes for this scenario. My heart goes out to her. I like her. I watched her a few times, and I think she's awesome. But she needs to hopefully figure this out, or tennis needs to figure it out and say, no more media needed. And the weird thing about it, I think it was all virtual media. I don't think she was in a room with a bunch of cameras and microphones. I think it was done virtually. Which is basically what we're doing right now. Only someone's asking you questions. So I don't know. I thought it would spark up a little debate here.
I've read a little bit I read a statement that she made, and from what I'm gathering, it seems as though she says that we're often sat there and asked questions that we've been asked multiple times before, or asked questions that bring doubt into our minds. And I'm just not going to subject myself to people that doubt me. And I from what I'm taking from that is that, she is getting, I guess, if a reporter is asking you a question and for whatever reason, it brings doubt into your mind. So you now are shaken by the question. So you're not, I don't know how to say this without being insensitive, but if you don't have the mental strength to believe in the fact that you are one of the greatest to do it right now, you are excellent at what you do, how could someone's question bring doubt into your mind? And if you feel that the media can do that to you, well, then, maybe you do need to step away and you need to figure out how to mentally prepare yourself and protect yourself from whatever questions, whether they're repetitive, whether you've heard them 100 times or not. Because the media, you as an athlete are you're not the only one. There are other tennis players that have to meet with the media, and they're going to be drilled with the same questions. They're going to face doubt while while they may contend against you, right? So I mean, others may be brought doubt that that you could defeat them, and so on and so forth. So if this is a matter of repetition and the fact that you can't mentally protect yourself from the doubt that they place in your mind by the questions that they asked, this is a you problem. And I don't know, but I sympathize with anything regarding mental health, regardless of what it is. We're all fighting a battle somewhere or another. And, I hope she gets it right.
I always thought Kevin Love suffering from depression. I always wondered what would happen if you ever see that movie? Who was in that stupid movie? They've made a few different movies like this, but it's like Trading Places, where someone wakes up and they're now in someone else's body and the other person's in the other person's body. I always wonder what type of depression he would have if he woke up tomorrow and he was Tony Cardarelli and I was Kevin Love. Then he'd really know what the fuck depression means. No mansion, ugly and bald, and he's got two dickhead friends that he does a YouTube channel with. All right, let's get to final thoughts. John, hit us up on your final thoughts.
I think the Suns are going to come out on top of the Lakers. I believe that. Well, I mean, I still have to go back and forth with Nick on this RJ Barrett Zion thing because it bothers the shit out of me.
Don't let it bother you, John. Just know that Zion is way better than RJ Barrett.
In my opinion, it's not that it's Zion. Just either the Pelicans are not the right place for him, and maybe if he plays elsewhere with a better core talent surrounding him, then maybe I would. I just think that right now RJ Barrett's just doing better, and maybe it's the success of the organization. I don't know. But I, for some reason, believe that over time, RJ Barrett will become the better overall player. I'm not sure about Zion. He's injury prone. He has the habit of missing games a lot. So, other than that, I'm not going to touch base on the mental health issues. We just covered it. So my final thoughts are, I still got the Suns winning everything, even if it sounds crazy. I believe it. I think they can. I appreciate everyone for coming. Like and subscribe. That's my final thoughts.
Nico.
My final thoughts. Looking at the 2019 draft right now, people that are at least as good, better, or I feel like potentially are going to be better than RJ Barrett. Zion Williamson, John Morant, DeAndre Hunter, Darius Garland, Rui Hachimura, PJ Washington, Tyler Hero, Chuma Okeke, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Brandon Clark, Grant Williams, Matisse Thybulle have pretty solid roles on their teams. And Keldon Johnson, Kevin Porter Jr., Nicholas Claxton. And that's about it. That's a lot of people who are just as good, if not better, than RJ Barrett.
All right, dude. Calm the fuck down. What are you even saying right now? I mean, you're just trying to be a dick. What? Come on, man.
RJ Barrett is only the only reason he's even relevant is because he was drafted 3rd overall, and he's getting the opportunity over a lot of these guys who have to climb the ranks.
Oh my God.
I mean, he was on a Knicks team that was garbage. Most of those guys are playing for relatively successful
And
organizations.
and he was
With the
drafted.
exception of Darius Garland,
He was drafted
John
to be-
Morant's awesome, but I mean, I think I do believe this isn't about John Morant or Darius Garland or Kevin Portis Jr. or whoever the.
You said he was the
you're
best
talking
person
about.
in that draft. I'm telling you, he was
I did not say he was the best person in the draft. I said that I believe he's going to be better than Zion. That's what I'm saying.
Well, Zion, the consensus view is the two top players in that draft are Zion Williamson and John Morant. So you're at least saying he's one or two.
Okay. And I'm saying over the course of his career, I believe that RJ Barrett will be better than Zion. That's what I'm telling you.
Okay.
Let's just see. Let's see if Zion can stay healthy, bro.
Zion hasn't been hurt since he came into the league. He hasn't really had an
What
injury.
the fuck is wrong with you? You know what? You keep reading fucking Christmas lists and you just stay, just take a nap, bro. Take a nap.
Nick,
I mean,
Zion missed most of his rookie year.
Yeah.
And then he missed the end of his sophomore year, which is this year.
Okay.
So he's been hurt twice in 2 years.
Okay.
Let's just see how this plays out.
Okay.
We don't need a list of.
I think
I
that
don't
was-
need you to read me. I don't need you to read me a list
I think
of
that was
50
more
guys.
them taking him out of the games because they don't want him to get it. They don't want him to risk injury because their season was already done. But
Oh, boy.
Do you remember how they painted him out to be the next best thing since LeBron James?
listen, when Zion plays, he's very good. He's very
He's just
effective.
a big body. He's just a linebacker playing basketball.
He's super athletic for being as big as he is,
Okay, so
And he
slow
has-
down, homie.
and he has a decent amount of skill.
Yeah, but what skill if you can't stay healthy?
Well, I mean, we'll see.
All right. My final thought is I can't wait for football to start back
Me
up.
too.
Can't wait to have more takes to talk about on this show. I think we're going to get some football news in this next week. I think there's going to be some moves being made. I know Julio Jones will be on a team probably by the next time we have a show. John, I don't think you're going to
Don't
like.
you say it.
I don't think you're going to like what team he might be going to. But we'll save that for the next show. Besides that, I just appreciate all the subscribers, all the views that we've been getting. Please comment, hit that subscribe button. Besides that, I think that's all I got. We'll end it with a cheers.
I'm recovering from a bachelor party. I'm not drinking.
Sounds good. All
Bottoms
right,
up, Nick, with your Coca-Cola. You.
all right. Appreciate you all. We'll see you next week on the Locker Room Rant.